So I've already made a video just like this last year, fashion trends I'm seeing less of in 2020, but that was a while ago. It was like March or May or somewhere around there. And I figured I'd give the updated version to that video here in 2021. My feed is completely different on seeing what people have been wearing, fit pic pages and all that types of stuff. But I got some pretty decent things on the list here. You guys might want to stick around. So with that said, it's your boy Keezy. It ain't easy being Keezy. Let's get it. So first up on the list is going to be Chrome Hearts. Yeah, and I'm not putting it on the list to tell you that it's completely dead or anything. It's just, I haven't been seeing much of it. And there was a point where I was seeing Chrome Hearts reconstructed Levi denim with the crosses all over them every day. In fact, every hour, if not every minute I open up Instagram, there would be the cross pants, or those like the crosses that they're famous for, that they put all over the denim, the vintage Levi's and stuff like that. Man, there was a point where it was so much, it was just getting very redundant, and I just don't see that as much anymore. But I think that kind of changed and morphed into people just reconstructing Levi's, and there's now this huge obsession of people that want to buy vintage Levi's. I don't know if Chrome Hearts was the one that, you know, sparked that necessarily, but maybe they played a role in it, right? And also too, the whole jewelry thing, I don't really see too many people buying into the jewelry as much anymore, or this specific category of people that kind of created this hype around it that it probably wasn't even the target market for when it came to Chrome Hearts. Like, Chrome Hearts target market is rich people, like celebrities and people that can afford to pay for like a $900 screen printed hoodie. I'm not joking, that's how much they go for. Some pretty crazy expensive stuff, all right? But there is some positive that comes out of this, if what I'm saying is true, as far as me seeing less of it, not as many people kind of buying into it, so to speak. We're not necessarily talking about actual celebrities, but we're talking about the consumer base that kind of created this hype. If they're not necessarily buying as much of it anymore, there are other people that are a true fan to the brand, and they have a deep appreciation for what they do and how they make their jewelry and things like that, and they might collect the pieces, and it will be more enjoyable for those people to continue to buy Chrome Hearts instead of it just being crazy hyped for no reason. And as a consumer, it just feels a little bit more special for you when you know that it's, you know, what you're buying into isn't that crazy hyped, and it's something that you can, I guess, just enjoy for yourself. Hopefully I put that in the best words possible. But anyways, with that said, man, Chrome Hearts, seeing less of it. Let's move on. So the next one we got up, I don't have the proper name for it, and I don't know who the designer is that created them, but it's these bungee cord pants. Yeah, last year and maybe even 2019, this look popped off, and I think there's some specific designer that made them, and then all of a sudden, of course, you have all the fast fashion companies that made them, and then Minimal had made them, and the pants kind of went through the conveyor belt of influencers, like to kind of feed this product to influencers as a new product to just post on their Instagram and take a fit pic in. And I think since it did go through that conveyor belt, as it stands, I see nobody wearing these. Like I haven't, the last time I saw it was when it got popular, which was months ago now. And I'm sure, you know, with me saying this, you might feel bad because you might be wearing them right now. I don't know. But I just haven't seen it. It really felt like something that came and went super quick. In fact, it didn't even stay here as fast as Snap Cargos stayed for everybody else. What was that, like 2 years ago now, or a year ago? Yeah, I don't know what the fate is of these pants, and I don't really understand them actually for myself. You know, if I were to just give any personal opinion, what was the purpose of the bungee cords? It was purely aesthetics, right? I don't know. Let's move on. So we're gonna talk about vintage. I'm kidding. Well, not really. A certain section of vintage, and that would be band tees. But the more common and more popular band tees, that would be like AC/DC, Metallica, Pink Floyd, Nirvana. I think maybe the time period of the end of 2018, all of 2019, and all of 2020. Or majority of 2020, that was like the mix of like all over print graphic tees, and you know, people were doing the homage stuff, and people were really loving the band tees. But I feel like a lot of people have floated away from the band tees, especially a lot of fit pick pages, maybe the ones that I'm just looking at, I don't know. But a lot of people aren't even wearing graphics. A lot of people are kind of going towards that minimalist, you know, less logos or non-logo type garments to go with their fit, instead of wearing something that just has this huge Metallica in the front, so to speak. And I think maybe where, if I were to just give a guess as to why I'm not seeing it either, is there ended up being a lot of bootlegs, right? I mean, like, there's so many places like Urban Outfitters and what have you that got the contract with things like AC/DC and Nirvana or whatever, and then they just remake t-shirts, no different than what they did with the Snoop Dogg stuff and whatever. So at that point, it's like everybody got it on, right? And then if you're someone that's a collector, you know, in the vintage realm, and you got the authentic one from, I don't know, way back when, and then you see everybody else that also has it, but it's not necessarily the thing, then it's like, okay, I might put this away for a while, and we're gonna come back to it, right? But again, this is another one. It's more positive for the person that's really into it, the person that really is into vintage. If less people are wearing it, then they can break it out again, and it feels, for them, it might feel like a little bit more special, you know, to put it on, because they feel a little bit more unique, I guess. Yeah. It does feel a little weird to bring up like fashion trends and then talk about brands on these types of videos, but I don't know how to explain it any other way. The next thing we're gonna talk about is minimal. And yes, I've been seeing less of it, surprisingly, because minimal dominated the market from 2017, 18, 19, I don't know about 2020. That might have been kind of its cusp of other people getting introduced to other things, and also the aesthetic kind of just started to change a little bit, and I'm sure minimal has kind of adopted to the times. 17, 18, and 19, boy, minimal was cranking. What influencer and what YouTuber, what, you know, personality or public figure did you know that wasn't wearing minimal or had a minimal sponsorship? It was minimal. Everybody's mama's baby's mama's mama had a minimal sponsorship, for Christ's sake, okay? But I gotta give credit where credit is due, and minimal spoke to a group of people at the time that did not appreciate things like raw denim, or they didn't appreciate spending more money on denim. They just didn't. And since they understood that, they kind of focused on their actual denim that they were selling, whether it was stretch or not stretch. It really had that fear of God aesthetic, but without the fear of God prices. And that's what everyone was looking for at the time. But for me, I kind of sat back and it was kind of strange, because it was like, bro, how everybody, you know, spending $300-400 on a t-shirt or a hoodie, right? And then your sneakers be like $1,000 off-white hyped up sneaker or whatever, but then your denim is gonna be something like, I don't know, some fast fashion or minimal. It's just, that seemed to be like the usual fit when you were scrolling Instagram at the time a couple years ago. But I now feel as if that look has now just kind of twisted and faded away, and I'm interested to see where the brand is going to go, because they killed it for those years. But as it stands, you guys know me, on my channel, I've just been preaching that more people need to buy into raw denim. I've been preaching it since 2018. Since I started my channel, I've been telling people, like, look, bro, just, you don't really need this fast fashion stuff. Yeah, it's great every once in a while, and I buy into it too every once in a while, right? It's depending on what it is, jackets or whatever. But when it comes to actual denim, you are way better off buying 2 or 3 pairs of raws and wearing those for 15 to 20 years, instead of buying in 15 or 20 years, instead of buying, you know, 50 something pants or 30 or 20 pants that you're probably not going to wear anymore because it's in one day and out the next, right? I mean, that's just where I stand on the whole topic. But minimal itself, I'm seeing a lot less of it. Fit pick pages, I don't even see people tagging it anymore. Maybe minimal's not giving out as many sponsorship. People already probably know about it. And also they went through their whole thing with Chrome Hearts and that whole battle and the copyright issues and whatnot. But yeah, as it stands, salute to everybody out there that still likes the brand, and we're gonna move on. So the next brand holds a good place for me because I still like this brand, and it played a role in my channel, and that's going to be Balenciaga. All right, I just haven't been seeing the newer pieces, and just in general, or even just like friends of friends talking about the brand as much as they were talking about it in 2018 or 17, 18, and 19. I don't know what year Demna hopped on board. It was somewhere around that time. And I think their marketing had been genius. But now it seems like a reiteration of the same marketing tactic, which probably is working for them, because as I'm saying all this, I'm sure the brand is going to sell out. That's a given. No matter what, the collections always sell out. But I think where it's different now and the marketing for the brand is different is that, you know, when Demna hopped on board and then made all those crazy type designs that was a cross between like street and high designer, with like high designer actual prices, it was very expensive stuff. But it also had a big shock value, right? When the first speed trainer came out, like the sock shoe came out, people were like, oh my god, it's a sock with a sole on it, and it had shock value to it. And then when they came out with the tracks also was like, oh, it's like a giant weird dad shoe thing, like, you know, I don't even know what it is. It's like a bulky shoe thing, right? It's exaggerated, it's crazy, and that's how I got introduced to it. But as the years have gone by now and moving into 2021, it seems like the same reiteration of the same thing, except the new version, right? It would just be like the sock shoe, but this is the V2 or the V3 or the V4, and it's like, well, we already got shocked from the first one, and now the new models, it doesn't have that same feel. And then they kept re-releasing all of the OG ones that they first made, which is great for those who missed out on it, but they just every season they came out with it again, and that's probably being their #1 seller. But I'm just saying, like, it didn't give it that special touch. And then moving forward for the next collections, it was just a new reiteration of the first one that we've already had that shock value for it. And I understand marketing for a high fashion brand is not the easiest thing to do in the world. And in fact, Balenciaga been killing it for years now, or not years, but since like 2017 in my scope and kind of the type of clothing that I look into, they've been killing it. Okay, so again, floating back, they're going to sell out, but I just haven't been seeing it as much on my feed. And you know, who's to say maybe next collection they'll come out with something that is that new shock value. They always making some type of meme something. It turned into memes. That's what it turned into. All right, so I feel that this next one is a given, but it's going to be the brand Amiri. But it's not just the brand, but it's more like the aesthetic of, you know, what they got famous for. Those like skinny jeans, those very, very tight, skinny stretch denim with a lot of pre-distressing and holes all over them. And then of course people give the argument of that they stole it from some other look. With that aside though, I think it might have been the years of 2017, 18, and 19 where I feel like rappers blew it up. Rappers blew up Amiris, because what rapper do you know that wasn't giving some kind of bars about Amiri? I got 100 stacks of my Amiris. It's like you got 100 racks in your Amiris? Do you know how tight those are? Those things are like laminated tight. This is skinny denim. How do you fit 100 racks in there? You fit 100 racks? More like $1,000 you could fit. More like your credit card. Okay, I'm totally kidding. But I think where I'm going with this is that since I haven't been seeing it as much, in combination of the skinny Amiri denim, I also haven't really been seeing as much Fear of God. I've been seeing essentials and whatnot. Yeah, people putting on the oversized hoodies and t-shirts and what have you. But the aesthetic that we know 2016, 17, and 18 for is the crazy skinny Amiri denim, or maybe Fear of God, blown out knee, and then like a hyped expensive sneaker, and then the shirt is like off-white or something, somewhere around there, and like a Supreme fanny, and they'll be lining up to go to SneakerCon. You know what I'm talking about, right? So just that entire look, and also just that type of fitting pants right now, I just haven't been seeing it at all. In fact, I just feel like a lot of the rappers kind of moved on, and they just aren't really necessarily rapping about the Amiris and wearing the Amiris, probably because all the other rappers are rapping about it too, and they all kind of look the same. They're like, I gotta move on to something else. Then they moved on to like Gallery Department, or they moved on to the Chrome Hearts pants or something like that. So I mean, as it stands, I just haven't seen it as much, and who knows, maybe Amiri is gonna come out with some new cut for this year, and then it's gonna pop off one more time, and you know, they're gonna do their thing. So anyways, let's keep it pushing here. You know what's funny is that like a lot of these trends I'm talking about, or a lot of the stuff I'm talking about, like a lot of it comes full circle. Like if you've been following me for a while and you've seen some of the other trend videos that I've made in the past, you know, there's a lot of stuff that I talked about like, oh, this is kind of what's in right now. And then now we come to this video and I'm like, I don't really know what happened to it, right? And the next one is going to be flared pants, man. Flared pants, but very flared pants, especially with the dunks. And it almost kind of built like a little community around it. And I don't know whose fault. It was probably gallery departments, you know, whole deal. And a lot of celebrities started wearing it and whatnot. And then also the trend of reworking vintage Levi's, reworking vintage pieces. And then everyone wanted them flared, but then they started getting a little bit too flared. And then the flare started to look like bell bottoms, like actual like 70s disco ball bell bottoms, like not even playing, you know what I mean? And I think it got a little too wide, and people got sick of it already. And it did kind of feel like, even in the beginning, like I didn't buy into it, and I was about to, because I was like, some of them are kind of clean. Some of them do go a little crazy. You know what I mean? But I held off because I'm like, I don't know, this one might not end very well. Who's to say, you know, I mean, I'm sure people are still into the look entirely. Gallery department seems to still be killing it at the moment. You know, I mean, theirs is like custom tailored though, with like master artisan tailors instead of someone doing it like in their garage, so to speak. So I don't know. We'll have to see. This year I haven't been seeing it as much, and maybe it'll have another win. Who am I to say? Okay, so I'm gonna leave you off with this last topic. The last topic is going to be that I'm seeing less people actually wear sneakers. Yes, big surprise. Even though, you know, Jordan 1s are still cranking right now, Dunks are still cranking right now, but I think a lot of like the fit pick pages, or maybe people in that realm of influence or public figures within Instagram fit pick pages and whatnot, a lot of the people that, you know, are the face of those pages, you know, kind of realize that the whole Jordan 1 thing probably is just like too crazy right now, right? It's just like the whole 1985 Jordan 1 ordeal, and like everybody has a pair somehow. It's just Jordan 1s in general, and even Dunks have just been flooded. And at that point, everyone went to New Balance, but now New Balance is getting flooded as well. You can't even find a pair of 992s for under $350, which is ridiculous. So I think some of them, you know, they want to give you something new, they want to give you something fresh, and a lot of them are floating towards the direction of becoming Japanese Americana. And since they're trying to be Japanese Americana within that realm, what goes hand in hand with that is to wear boots, you know what I mean? Boots, penny loafers, Birkenstocks, just any type of hard shoes, something with like a tassel on it of some kind, like those old shoes that your uncle wears at your Christmas party. You know what I'm talking about. But it had really become a natural progression though, if you really think about it. It became a natural progression because 2018, you know, it went the cycle of bulky shoes, and then after everyone was like, oh, bulky, I guess, and then it went to ugly shoes. It was like a trend of ugly shoes for a moment. Then it went to dad shoes. Then dad shoes transformed into New Balance. Then New Balance got hyped. And then now here we are, flash forward. Now people are actually wearing uncle shoes with the tassels and like the hard shoes to go with their fit, straight up. You know, it's like the reiteration of that and the evolution that goes all the way to the direction of Japanese Americana as it stands. I don't know if I could explain that any better, but there it is. But of course, keep in mind, you know, sneakers aren't going anywhere. Of course not. You know, you're gonna have sneakerheads regardless. You got full-on people making careers off of actual sneakers. But it just, as it stands, and maybe just the stuff that I've been following, the sneaker rotation is kind of getting less and less. Instead of taking a photo with all your sneakers lined up, it's like a sneaker plus some loafers as well. Yeah. All right, closing this out. I don't have any more. That's my list. That's my list for this year. And if there's something that you felt that I should have talked about, you guys already know what to do. Put it into the comment section and converse about it nicely, please. All right. Let's not be mean to each other down there, so it's not a war zone, and we can, you know, share perspectives, so to speak. And if there's anything I said in this video that was incorrect, or it pissed you off and it got you triggered, hey man, let it be known, man. I'm here for it. I'm here for it all. You know what I'm talking about? So with that said, I'm closing this out. It's your boy. It ain't easy being Keezy. I'll see you next time. Peace.